it kind of just, I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I'm just this like random high schooler. Like, I'm just your average person who has like no idea what they're doing.
Welcome to Bridge Testimonies, where we present extended and unfiltered testimonies in the lives of our people here at the Bridge.
Hi, my name is CaraAnn, and my family's been going to the Bridge for like 15 years. I'm 16, so I'm pretty sure I accepted Jesus probably like I think it was at a Bible camp probably. I'm not really sure when, just because like I feel like I was always a Christian just growing up. But one time I can remember like vividly like rededicating my life to the Lord. Was in 4th grade. Like that was a big year for me. Like my family separated, so it was pretty big. But then also that year I got to go to camp for the first time, which was so awesome. I literally had like the time of my life. I love camps. Like I live for them. So I loved school. I was a big fan of it. Then growing up going to the church, I loved going to Connect 6, and then I loved going to Access. But in 6th grade, that's when the whole big global pandemic happened, and that was hard. Like I'm a big people person, and they're like, oh nope, none of those anymore. So that was a little difficult, but coming out of COVID, I feel like I had one of the best years ever. 8th grade was so much fun for me. Like, I feel like I just like had success after success. And then going into freshman year, that's when I got baptized. I got baptized that summer. Going into freshman year, that was hard. Like, it was just mentally challenging. Like, I was completely overcommitted. Like, I was freshman class president, and I was in all of these a bajillion clubs, and I was in a show, and I was in cheer, and I was just like, I had no idea what I was doing. I was so overcommitted. I was so stressed out, and then also like in that time, like I feel like I didn't feel God at all. Like I just felt lonely. I was sad. Like I just didn't know what was happening. There was all these new things, and I was like freaking out all the time, so anxious. Like I was just like struggling with anxiety. I feel like that's something I hadn't struggled with before. Like I was like, where's this coming from? Like I feel like I was the most confident person ever. And then now I'm in high school and I have no idea what I'm doing. I just didn't feel like I felt the Lord at all. And that was so like tough and lonely. But in it, I was like, okay, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to dig. I'm going to figure out why I don't know, like why I don't feel the Lord at all. And so I was digging in my Bible. I was probably annoying the heck out of all my friends on Bible app because I was highlighting a million things. And through studying it, I found there's this one Bible verse, and it's John 6:68. And it's pretty much just like Jesus explained something like really complicated, and people started turning away from Christianity. And he asked Simon Peter, like, where are you going to turn to? And then Simon Peter said, like, I'm going to turn to you because you know the ways for eternal life. And I feel like that was so big, and that was such a good verse for me to learn. And like breaking that chapter down was really good because I realized we don't trust God because of what's happening. We trust God because what he's done. And I'm like, okay, like, like if I have no idea what I'm doing, God can get me through geometry class because look what he's done. Like that really just like reassured by faith. And I realized I wasn't alone ever because God was there with me. And it just took me like changing my mindset on thinking that like, hey, like God was always there for me. And hey, if it was silence, it wasn't because he left me. It was because he had confidence in me to handle the silence. And I know I talked to DJ about this, and one really good thing that he said was, when you feel like you're wrestling with God, you should be joyful and you should be happy because it takes 2 to wrestle. And that like totally changed my view on how I see this now. And I feel like God was just whispering, and he just wanted me to get closer and closer to him. So like he could come and give me like a big hug or something. And I feel like going through like those trials of not feeling God and his silence was really beneficial for me and just helped shape me. It was hard because like, I mean, a bunch of people are saying all these mean things, and I'm stressed out and I'm overcommitted and all these things. But sure enough, God like helped me through it. So, coming out of freshman year, still pretty defeated from that year. It was tough. But then that summer, I got to go to summer camp, which was so awesome and uh, really opened my eyes to new things. And I pretty much got two big things out of that summer camp. And I was like, okay, you need to stop stressing yourself out and you need to stop overcommitting yourself. And like, I had this like urge to just like start a club and just like tell people at my school about Jesus. And I thought it'd be really awesome. Well, I got one of those things down. I just started a club and I called it Project Jesus. And this club was based on outreach, and it's pretty much just letting people know that God has more plans, dreams, and blessings for their life, and that your loved one is seen. And I think that was really important to bring to our high school. And then I got one of my best friends to run it with me, and it kind of just, I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I'm just this like random high schooler. Like, I'm just your average person who has like no idea what they're doing. So on club day, you like take out your little table and like you have all your things, and then all these other tables, they just had like all these signs and posters and candy. I'm just there. I'm just like, I just have my Bible. Like, I don't like, I'm like, no one's going to sign up for my club. Like, I don't have anything to offer. And like, sure enough, 125 people came and signed up for this club. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, this doesn't happen. Like, I looked around at all of these clubs, and even like these clubs that have like been happening for years, and they like you're lucky if you get like 20 people to sign up for your club. And I was like, what the heck is happening? And I was like, okay, we're just gonna run with it. So we started having meetings, and then maybe we had like 25 people like show up, which is pretty good for a new club. And I was really happy about it. And then we brainstormed like this really big idea, and pretty much we wanted to have an outreach week. So it was going to be a three-day outreach week, and we're going to get 3 different speakers. They're going to speak for a little bit, and then we're just going to be open to if anyone wants to come up and accept Christ, or we'll pray over them, or really anything. Like, we were just going to be there for them. We advertised. We passed out like 500 flyers, and we're like, hey, if anyone wants to go give up their lunch and come listen to what God has to say, we'll give you a slice of pizza. Like, I'm like, come on. We weren't sure really what was going to come out of that, but we didn't know. But we asked for speakers, and we brought speakers in, and we brought pizzas, and we were just hoping for people to show up. And I know I was talking to one of my friends, and I was like maybe 40 people. Like, if we get 40 people, I will be ecstatic. Like, I will be so excited that our hard work paid off and 40 people get to hear the gospel. Sure enough, we're sitting in there and we're waiting for people to come, and people just keep coming and keep coming. Sure enough, the very first day of our outreach week, over 300 people, like at a public high school, gave up their lunch to come listen to the gospel. And I was in awe. And that day, about 10 people gave their life to Christ, which is crazy. And I was like, okay, let's keep it going. The second day came around. I think it was around 450 people came and gave up their lunch to listen to the gospel again. And then the last day we had over 500 people. And like the second day we had like over 50 people give their life to Christ. And the third day, I don't even know how many people gave their life to Christ. It was just crazy. And like, this is happening at a public high school. And even one of the craziest things that came out of this, there was an atheist that came, and he believed there's no God, like no way. And sure enough, now he's connected in a church, and he's coming to our meetings, and he's reached out to one of our speakers. Like, they go out to lunch and they're talking about God. And that's so crazy. My mind's just blown. Like, sure, we got some hate from it. Like, I know I got screamed at by a couple teachers. It was crazy. And but overall, I saw that God is so good, and God has plan, and God had his hand in this. And I was like after that, we had different schools reach out to us. Like, we had Liberty reach out to us, and Stockdale and Independence and Highland and all these other schools. Just like, now we have like a bunch of different sponsors and people who are like funding our club. Like, it was so cool. And then we were able to have a worship night, and where we had just like over like 250 people like come and give up their Friday night, like the Memorial Day weekend, like that Friday night. And we got to be on 88.3. We got to meet the Joyride guys. Like, oh my goodness, like dream come true. It's so fun. It just takes a little bit of faith for God to do something so big. And I feel like if like God could use me to do this, like he can literally use anyone to do this all over Bakersfield. The hard work paid off. And I think everyone could see that God has hand in it because like just out of public high school, overall getting over 1,200 people to come down and listen to what God had to say in 3 days. You know, I saw that as a miracle that God did. And I think he was working at Centennial and also like going through the trials of high school. Like I like to think of it like a basil plant. Like I've killed many a basil plant before, but like, so your basil plant lives, you have to take away leaves and you have to like trim your basil plant so then it grows more basil because like if it stays the same, it's just going to die. But I also see that as like, that's God, how he's working with us. Like he takes things away so then we can grow more. And I feel like going through trials and going through the hard things, it's just like him just pruning us, like pruning our little basil plant so then we can grow and be something like greater for him. I know if I hadn't gone through some things before, like I probably wouldn't have been like as strong and ready for things. Like your family separating, that sucks. Like being anxious all the time, that sucks. Being stressed out and sad, that sucks. But overall, it helps you in the future. And like God is just laying the foundation for you to be stronger and for you to like really see God and serve him and like be a light. Because like you can't grow in times like where everything's easy. You can only grow when things are hard. It's so much more fulfilling to stand for God instead of the world. And like overall, like even through like my busy schedule, I'm totally off topic, but even through my busy schedule, like I see like all of these things I'm doing and really the only fulfilling thing, like really at the end of the day, the only fulfilling thing is Jesus. And I mean, working in this club to like shine the light of Jesus in the darkness and just like be a light at my school is like really important and it's fulfilling and I get joy from it. So yeah.